This is Austin again from Arizona Sulcata. Today I'm going to show you guys what happens from when the time a tortoise hatches until it gets into its enclosure like this. Okay, so excuse the mess, it's hatching season, so things get crazy around here around hatching season. So we have our eggs in trays like this. So I just had tortoises hatch out yesterday. This is full of 20 eggs. All 20 eggs hatched, which was awesome. Okay, so this was full of eggs. Now this stuff right here, this is called Vermiculite. Holds in the moisture, keeps the eggs nice and moist and everything humid during incubation. Let me show you what some with eggs look like. Here's one of our incubators. So that's pretty much what that looked like. Okay, you got eggs in the Vermiculite. As you can see, there's more down there. That one's nice and full. Okay, so that one was chilling there yesterday. Now it's all hatched out. So when the tortoise starts peeping out of its shell, okay, what we do is we like to take them out of this stuff. Reason being, a lot of people will keep them in this. I did it myself for a while, but I did find that when they eat this stuff, a lot of times it can, if they're in there for a while, like if you procrastinate getting them out and they're in there for, I'd say any longer than about 3 days, they eat a lot of this stuff and it can cause them to get all backed up and it gets stuck in their digestive tract. They can't eat food anymore, and then over time, so what the sad part is sulcatas are such hardy animals that it takes a lot to kill them, okay? So that tortoise is going to survive for, could be months. Now that breeder isn't going to hang on to that tortoise for months. He's going to sell it, right? So months down the road, your tortoise ends up dying. And what they say is, oh, that was hatchling failure syndrome. No, it wasn't hatchling failure syndrome. It was breeder failure syndrome. You didn't take him out of the Vermiculite, or you didn't give him your soaks. It's on the breeder. It's not on you, okay? As long as you're doing everything right, that tortoise should live for a very, very long time. Okay, so what we do is we take them out of that Vermiculite. We stick them into another tray. We use these spring mix trays. I use them for everything because we have so many extras around here. And take them out of there, and I stick their eggs in here with a wet paper towel, and they hatch out. Okay, let me show you here. So when they hatch out, they have a big old yolk sac. You can see that one's about almost sealed up. He's almost ready to go into the enclosure, but we'll give him another, maybe till tonight. We'll see what happens. There you go. There's one with the yolk sac a little bit still intact. Again, they're starting to seal up. It only takes about a day or two. Now that yolk sac would have been nice and big, take up about half of its shell. You can see this is a lively little fella. These are just gorgeous hatchlings we produce here at Arizona Sulcata. That one's kind of cool. I like the spots that it has there. So we keep them in the incubator. It takes about 1 to 2 days, sometimes 3 days. And we wait for that yolk sac to seal up. Now that yolk sac is how they get all their nutrients and everything, kind of like our umbilical cord. Well, that's how they get all their water and everything like that. Now, very important, we do soak these at least once a day, okay? Very important to soak sulcata hatchlings every day for at least 20 minutes, ideally. Okay, very important. Ask your breeder, how often are you soaking them? If they don't say every day, I would not buy one from them, okay? So what we got here is this is some fresh ryegrass that we just cut out of our pasture. Now this stuff is great for tortoises. Sulcatas are grassland tortoises. They do better on grasses and weeds. Don't give them a whole lot of veggies. Definitely try to avoid fruits as much as possible. We got a shallow water dish right here. Keep it nice and shallow. You don't want them to drown or anything like that. So now your setup's going to look a little different. I would recommend, a lot of people want to get nice and fancy with it. I would recommend to just keep it simple because, to be honest, your tortoises are going to mess up any pretty decorations you have in there anyway. So we got these log hides. Now they don't come with this extra piece of wood here. I like to screw one on at the end of the log. That way it keeps them from climbing up and over and getting flipped over. I can promise you if you don't have something like that, they will flip themselves over. So I'd highly recommend doing something like that to your hides. Now what's great about this enclosure is I got these thermostat controls. I can control it up or down and control the temperature. Now, I'd highly recommend everyone, if you're raising a tortoise, get a temperature gun, okay? This thing will save you and quite possibly your tortoise's life. You can measure underneath the heat lamp, in the logs, on the cool side. You can make sure all your temperatures are ready to go, okay? So right there, 93 degrees, that's pretty great for the warm side. Let's see what the cool side is here. 84, let's see in the cool corner right here. 82, perfect, okay? I don't like mine getting under 80 degrees. At that point, you set yourself up for possibly them getting respiratory infections. Not ideal, so try to keep things above 80 degrees. Again, on your warm side, you want it to be about 95, 100 underneath this. I have a CHE right here. That's a ceramic heat emitter, and that heats up everything, okay? So now what you're seeing on top here, this substrate, this is Cypress Mulch, okay? You can get that at Home Depot. I get mine from Amazon. It's just as cheap and ship it right to the door. So this is Cypress Mulch. What you can't see is underneath the Cypress Mulch, I have about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of cocoa fiber. Now it's Eco Earth cocoa fiber. You can find it at just about any pet store. Now why I put a layer of that underneath is because it's great at holding in moisture and humidity. So when you're spraying water in there, which I'd recommend to do as often as you can, I use this sprayer right here. Okay, it makes things a little bit easier so I don't have to, squeeze the trigger every time on those misters. I had automatic misters for a while. I didn't really like them, and they're pretty pricey too. So I just went with that sprayer. I think it cost me about $6. Spray it down, keep it nice and moist. Humidity, shoot for around 60 to 80%. Okay. And as you can see, I'll show you some here. See, these are just gorgeous hatchlings we produce here at Arizona Sulcata. Nice and smooth shells. We do provide a full year guarantee for all of our hatchlings sold. And now, guys, if you have a tortoise that lives to be over a year, right, that tortoise is going to live forever. So, well, not forever, but you get what I mean. Our hatchlings are very healthy here, very smooth shells. More than happy to provide that year guarantee. So that's what our setup looks like, guys. Very simple. Food, water, shelter, heat. Okay, what you can't see is the UVB. It's in there. That's what's creating the light. This right here, this ceramic heat emitter doesn't produce any light at all. So at night, what I do is I come in here, unscrew the UVB, and it gets nice and dark. Now it's light, it's daytime, but at night it's dark in there. It should be dark in there at night. Okay. Now that is our setup at Arizona Sulcata. Very simple. And now you guys can email me anytime. You can contact me through my website at azsulcata.com. And I am more than happy to answer any of your guys' questions. Whether you bought from me or not, if you have a tortoise and you just want to know some information about it, you have some questions, email me anytime. I'm happy to help you guys. So that's it here from Arizona Sulcata. These are our Sulcata hatchling enclosures. Thanks, guys.